Our last learning target for this section was to deal with complementary and supplementary angles. Two positive angles are complementary when their sum is 90 degrees or pi over 2 radians. Two positive angles are supplementary when their sum is 180 degrees or pi radians. The key on this right here is the fact that the angles must be positive in order for them to be considered complements and supplements of each other. So if you work the math out and you get a negative angle measure, then that's not considered a complement or a supplement. If I want to find the complement of the 72-degree angle, since it's in degrees, I'm going to check to see what the difference from 90 degrees is. So if I subtract 72 degrees from 90, I'm going to get 18 degrees. So my complement would be 18 degrees. If I want to find my supplement, I would subtract 72 degrees from 180 degrees. And when I do that math, I'm going to get 108 degrees. So my supplement would be 108 degrees. In this example here, when I tried to work this out, if I want to find the complement, I would take 90 degrees and subtract 148. And notice that if I do that math, I get a negative angle. Complementary angles must be positive. So since that works out to be a negative, since my original angle was bigger than 90 degrees, we would say there is no complement. But we can still check to see if there's a supplement. And again, to find a supplement, we just subtract from 180 degrees. So if I do the math, I would find out the supplement would be 32 degrees. Now, whether we're in degrees or radians, we can find complements and supplements. The only thing that changes is the number that I'm using to represent the angle measure. So when we're working with complements and supplements in radians, we're going to use pi over 2 radians and pi radians to represent the 90-degree point and the 180-degree point. So if I want to find the complement, I would start by taking pi over 2 minus 2 pi over 5. Now, since my denominators are different, I would have to find a common denominator. So if I'm looking at 2 and 5, they both would have a common denominator of 10. So this would be 5 pi over 10, and this would be 4 pi over 10. And so my complement, if I do that math, would give me pi over 10 radians. For my supplement, I use pi. And I subtract the given angle from pi. Now again, I would want to find a common denominator. So for this one, I would use 5 pi over 5 minus 2 pi over 5. And find out my supplement is 3 pi over 5 radians. Let's look at one more example in that radian mode. So for complementary angles, I would start with the pi over 2, and I would subtract the given angle, get my common denominator, again, which would be 10. And notice once again, I end up with a negative angle, so there would be no complement. For supplement, I would take pi minus that given angle, or 5 pi over 5 minus 4 pi over 5, and find out the supplement was pi over 5 radians. What I'm going to have you do is go back to the homework assignment that's posted in there, and you should be able to answer all the parts now based off our learning targets for this lesson. So as you're going through, you want to make sure you can complete all of the given questions that are there. So I gave you basically an angle measure, and what you're going to do is you're going to take, in each of the problems I gave you, take the angle measure. You'll convert it from whatever unit it is. Either if it's in radians like this example, you would convert it to degrees. If it's in radians, you'll convert it to degrees. If it's in degrees, you'll convert it to radians. You're going to sketch your angle in standard position. Remember drawing the little rotation to show which direction you're moving. And then, if possible, find the complement and supplement. And then you're going to give me two coterminal angles in degree and radian measure to work through that. Let's just look at this example really quickly. To convert the angle to degrees, I'm going to take my angle in radians. To convert from radians to degrees, I'm going to multiply by 180 degrees over pi. And then we'll multiply across the top. So we'll do that negative 13 times 180 and divide by 6 and find out that this is negative 390 degrees. If I want to sketch the angle in standard position, I'm going to mark my vertex right at the origin, trace the positive x-axis for my initial side. Then we're going to rotate. You could either use it in radians or use your degrees if that works better for you. And we're going negative 390. So that's negative 360 and then an extra 30 degrees to go that 390. So there's my angle in standard position. The quadrant it lies in, the terminal side landed in quadrant 4. Notice that this angle was negative. Remember, by definition, complements and supplements both have to have positive angle measures. So right away, since the angle's already negative, I know it can't have a complement or a supplement. So no complement and no supplement because my original angle was negative. But we have the examples from up above to review how to find complements and supplements. And then finally, for coterminal angles, one positive and one negative, and I want it in both degree and radian measure. So we would start, if I'm in radian measure, remember we want to add 2 pi. So that would be negative 13 pi over 6 plus 12 pi over 6. So I'm going to get negative pi over 6. Notice that when I added 2 pi, my answer is still negative. So that means I want to keep growing to get my next positive angle measure. So to find the next answer for this one, I'm going to take negative pi over 6 and add 2 pi. And that'll give me 11 pi over 6. So those are 2 values for coterminal angles, one negative and one positive using radians. Using degrees, I would take that negative 390 degrees and add 360. And I would get negative 30. And again, I want to keep on adding because if I subtract, I'm going to get another negative angle measure, and the directions say I want a positive and a negative. So I'm going to take that negative 30 degrees, and I'm going to add another 360 to it and get my other coterminal angle to be 330 degrees. So you're going to go back into the assignment that was posted in class, complete the 4 problems, and even try the extension if you want. And make sure that you can meet all of our learning targets for this unit.